Okay. Interesting. That the main one doesn't work. So now this should be working. Hopefully. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right, that is working. Okay, so let's do that. And this one should be good. Let's do that. This. Everybody in the party. Just kidding. I don't talk. Let's see. Let's open the chat up. I wonder if this works. Damn it! The only place it didn't go is. Let's try this. I want my party chat to show up. Maybe it's because I don't have this. Let's try it out. Boop. Well, that's a bummer. It's not showing all the chats. But that's okay. Just a little refresh. All right, interesting. Anyway, that's working. Right. Yeah, now I'm just waiting. For people to chat. Let me actually do something real quick. Oh yeah. Can't forget to. I definitely don't want to do multi-chat. All right. Anyway, here, and change this to. See, this is where should work. Yeah. It sucks. This doesn't work. I wonder if there's a certain. Yeah, it's a bummer. That doesn't work. Party chats not chatting right now. I wonder if it's because of party. Yeah, that must be what it is. Party chat. Let's try something real quick. Let's see if we can fix this. I think I might know what's going on. Let's see this. Let's see. Go to party, and then what we want to do is not show timestamps. I think that's what the problem is. So if I do this, now if I had to go, does that work? Don't need that one. Let's try this. Don't need this. One. Don't need that one. Let's see if that works. Bummer. Yeah, that didn't work. That's a huge bummer. Unless it's only not working because I'm a moderator. Because I'm the person shakety chatting. Oh well. Anyway. How's everybody doing? Everyone having a good day. Had a good Thanksgiving. Yeah. Let's see. Cool. Let's see. But don't. Yeah. Let's see. Let me know how many people. I'm gonna set up. Let me see. Just in chat. If you want to. Let me know what people like. That'd be pretty dope. Yeah. So Google Spreadsheet stuff. Basically, there's a lot of things that I think people need to learn about for Google Spreadsheets. Just because Excel was amazing. It's here still. But I haven't really touched Excel in a long time because I've been using Google Spreadsheets for my work and stuff. Yeah. So this is yeah, so it's kind of just like an open forum for people if you want to drop in. I am going to send a tweet. A little tweet. Say There we go. There we go. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is one set two. This is one set two. Why am I double audioing right now? On the hill. On the hill. Oh. Don't want that. All right, so that fixed it. Let me see. Oh, not Twitter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, cool. It's synced up. That's fixed. All right. All right, cool. Yeah, if anybody wants to, drop in with your questions, I'm gonna still send out that tweet. So I need to get back to the party. Close that out. Let's do a. I'm pretty sure that link does not work. Yeah, that works. Booty. Where is the party? Okay. Oh. There we go. Save that there. Put that there. Guess what I will do? I'm almost done sending the tweet. I will Yeah. Oh, I need there's no tags for I was trying to find tags on Twitter for Google Sheets. That's so funny. Anyway, there's nothing. I'm gonna change that with my stream. It's gonna be so great. Hey, Jose, how's it going? Oh, you sent me a rose. That's so dope. Thank you. Thank you very much. How's your day going? And if you have any Google Spreadsheet questions, like if you're having issues with functions or anything like that, let me know. I'll be right back. I get this phone call. All right, I gotta go help load kids up to the car real quick. It's gonna be like 10 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Probably like 5 minutes, but kids are kids. All right, be right back. Hey everybody, I'm back. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so I guess one thing that is, I would say, really important when you're working with Google Sheets. So there's a couple of things with Google Sheets. One, there is a maximum amount of connections you can do with Google Sheets. Meaning if you have this spreadsheet and it has like ID, name, or let's see, string, this could be like more data, yeah, say something like that, right? And then you have another spreadsheet that you want to reference this data and it pulls it into that new spreadsheet. You can only do that, like that. This spreadsheet can only have a maximum amount of other sheets linking to it, which I think is like, I think the number is like 100. Yo. Oh. How do you open spreadsheets? So right now I'm using Google Spreadsheets. And so what you can do is go to drive.google.com. If you have a Google account, super easy, it's free. And then what you do is you just right click and do like Google Sheets and then blank spreadsheet or from a template, depends on what you want to do. You can also click on new here, do the same thing. And then that opens a untitled spreadsheet and then you can name it whatever you want. Let me just do this. I'll just do that. Yeah, so you can only connect, this spreadsheet can have a maximum amount of connections to it. So if you have 101 spreadsheets come up and it's just like you try and access it, it'll give you like a loading error. And that's when you do stuff like this, import data, and you can pass in a URL. And let me do this. This will be fast if I just do this. If I just duplicate this sheet, I could just say make a copy. Yeah, we'll just call you reference. I'll just call it ref. Just make a copy. So now I have two spreadsheets. And let's say I want to pull all of these strings. So we have ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Doesn't have to be in order or anything. Just depends on how you have your data. And this could be like pants, blue, boots, bananas. Could be a number, could be a date. Let's do this. I like doing like whoopsies. Today is a very highly used function that I use, and you can change the format of it. Be like this is a date, and this is a date, and this is a number. So numbers and dates are right aligned. And you can even have like, ideally there's no like empty strings, but you can keep it. I'm gonna leave everything else empty for now. Okay, so all right, now that you have the spreadsheet, do I now get happiness? Kind of, kind of. Just getting there is half the battle. Yeah, so I think Google Spreadsheets is a really good tool to use, and it's like you could use this with anything. Like, let's say you were like doing something and you didn't want you had your calculator open, or you didn't want to be like a calculator and then type in stuff. You can be like, oh, I want to summarize. Be like, oh, I want to do like, and then that's like 95. So You do like quick addition. You could do things like when you copy and paste from places, like if you wanted to store notes in here, you could do stuff like that. Yeah, and there's a bunch of other things you can do. Like, I mean, later on in like sort of tech life, if you want it, like it doesn't have to be programming life, but you could have rows where you have certain things. Like one thing I'm thinking of is having a spreadsheet where it has like stream titles or social media sort of posts, and I can just populate that. And then there's other things you can do that reference a Google spreadsheet and be like, oh, take it from this row, and then you can have it autofill places and stuff like that. So like it's a good thing to hold data, but like I said, there are caveats to it. But yeah, so if we go back to this sheet, which is a reference, and let's just say I wanted to pull the data into here, I just do import range. Or sorry, import data, and then you can pass in a URL. And this URL, it could be this whole giant thing, but since it's Google, it's smart enough to know if you just take the stream key, you can just add that here. And then you need to say import data URL. It's not import data. It is. Yeah, here we go. Import range is what you want. So you could say like, oh, I want this spreadsheet. And then you could say, oh, I want things from sheet 1, and I want values from A to, if we do like A to B. So it'll take like all of the columns. And one cool thing is if you are just typing out this, and see how there's an open brace and there's not a closed brace? If you hit enter, it auto closes the brace. But as you can see, this is the first connection I've done trying to reference this data here. So if I just say allow access, this updates, and now it's the data from here. So I can say like, oh, I want this to say jeans instead of pants, and it'll update it here. See? Bloop. Just a little update right there. So you can see like I only said, hey, get me A to B. You could say, oh, I want to get A to C. And you see how it pulled the data 1 column. You can say, oh, let's just say you want to be like super specific. Normally what you would do is I would do like an import range, and then there's different things. You can do filters, and you could filter that data, this data. You could say, hey, grab me all of this data. And then I can say on the condition. So this is like saying like, if this is true, so if one, like if it was like, if you were saying, like basically how it works is this: if this is true, do something. If this is true, it does a particular thing. Like it's gonna list out that data. So in this case, if I was like, oh, I want to use all the data from column A, and I said, oh, I only want when this equals 1, right? So what that means is once this is equal to 1, what this is going to do is it's going to filter out everything in this data set and look for things that are 1s. So if I had 2 1s here, it should list out 2 things here. Or if you wanted to say, oh, it's not equal to 1, then it does that. So now you have everything but 1. And it is weird. It's not like programming where you say like not equal to 1 because it doesn't know how to handle it. So it's not a proper formula. And this just means basically not this. But then you can do stuff where, oh, I want to grab things where B to B is not empty, right? So now it got everything from there, but remember row 7 or ID 7 had nothing, but it didn't pull ID 7 in there. Yeah, so there's like that sort of referencing that you can do. But there's also another thing you could do where you could say, hey, I want like what you could do, which is easier than doing filtering, but the caveat to this is you do a query, which you basically pass in the data, and then you can say if you understand how to do SQL queries, you can do oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I was trying to Alt enter this. Oh god damn it. Sorry. Yeah, what you can do is you can say capacity select everything, and then you can say where, and then you can say column. Since you're doing an import range, it doesn't have like the reference of column A, B, C, or D. It's going to be the column number from this spreadsheet. So you could say, oh, where column 1 equals 1. And then you have to close that. And then you can say if it whether or not there's headers. So if there are headers, you could put a 1. Oh, whoops. Column 1. So yeah. Or if you don't want headers, you can say I don't want headers. And you can also put in like a -1. Let's say you wanted to get the data, but you where was it? I thought it was -1. It's different ways of getting the data to show, I guess. Anyway, but you can say yeah, it has a 1. But then you get to the downside of the thing that I run into a lot, and this is where you can do like formula nesting. So this is where you would probably eventually want to write like a Google Apps script. But let's just say in this other sheet, someone moved this data over here. So now when you go here, you know, it got all of column A because you asked for it, and it went to all of column C. But now column 1 is no longer column A on this sheet, right? So usually what I end up having to do is I do something like this. I can do, let me just copy this data real quick. And if you hit the escape button, let's say you just changed a bunch of stuff and you didn't want to make a change, just hit escape and it gets out of there. But what you can do is you can do import range. You can do this thing called a match. You can say match, and you want to search for the column header ID, and then you want to put in the range. And in this case, it's going to be the import range, except you want to do row 1 to 1. And then you want to do search type of 0, so which means if it will go sequentially. So let's just say, I think this just means it's unordered. So it's just going to be like, oh, but if it was ordered, I think what it does is it shifts things around and it becomes like a different thing, right? So this says it's column 3 if it's 1. I think it's column 2. Yeah, there we go. So like it's column 2 here, but if it sorts all of this information, this becomes here automatically. So that's why I usually do match 0, because that way it knows you get to this. But then you can do stuff where you can say column and then do an ampersand. And what that's going to do is it's going to concatenate. It's going to put these two values together, like what you typed here. It's going to concatenate it with this value. So now, see how this is column 2? So we can copy this data. So let's do this. Column. There. So now it's always column 2 here. If it's an assignment, ooh, that'd be dope if you, I don't really want to grade papers right now, but, um, I don't, is there such thing as Google Classroom? Eh, I don't use it. It's something I don't use. But anyway, um, so let me grab this data. Yeah, it's on the reference sheet. But if I move this here, this becomes column 1. So now what you could do is you can just grab this data here, this whole thing minus the equal sign. And then you could do stuff like right here, since this has the potential to change, you could just do ampersand. Usually do 2 ampersands. So you do a quotation to section this part of the query off, and then quotation this. And now in here is where you would drop that data in that you just created. So now ID is always in this in being calculated. So if you can move it here, it's gonna break. And the reason why this breaks, but let me show you first. So if I keep this here, it's in range, so it's in the 3rd column. But originally, I told this thing, hey, I only want columns A to C. And that's the problem. That's why it breaks when I move it over to here, is because now it's out of range. So it doesn't know where column 4 is because it's not in the range of the data. So what you would want to do, and what you can do, is actually change this to ZZ. And now it's always here. So even if you move this like over here, like it's putting it over here, but ideally people won't have like columns missing data. But yeah, so that's that. That's the stuff. Yeah, so you just show up. You just have to show up. It's an attendance grade. Exactly. It's exactly. If it's I'm gonna do a roll call next stream, and if you're not here, I'll have to call your parents. No. Yeah, so I mean, that is one thing that I do a lot of with my current at my job, because we use Google Spreadsheets for a lot of things. So when I'm like making tables for certain things, it's a lot of the time the different teams might change the position of a header of a column, and then so it's like, oh, it ends up breaking stuff. So I found doing this will just fix it, because they can move things all they want, they just can't delete it. They delete it, then it's just like, all right, that's fun trying to figure out. That's when you, like, if someone deletes something, like someone said, oh, this is IDs now, which doesn't exist. So it's going to be like, oh, this is broken. But the nice thing is it says, oh, it can't find it in match evaluation. So if you go here, you're like, oh, well, where's the match happening? And you go, oh, it's looking for ID on this spreadsheet, on this tab. So what you could do is you could say, hey, why did you change the title of that column to IDs instead of ID? And if they have a good reason, like most of the times it's an accident. Like sometimes they just delete stuff, because if you're on a sheet and you type something, it just deletes the thing. People sometimes just hit the delete key, so it breaks things. But yeah, so there's that. And I think you can also do wildcards. So if this turned into that, yeah, this still works. So oh no, not that. Yeah, so it still technically works. So, which is nice, but the other thing is this is only like a 2 column header, and you probably don't want something that is just, oh, if it starts with ID, it'll always pull the first instance of it. But yeah, so that multiplication is an ID, is like a wild card. So, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend using it like that unless this was like row, column, ID, and then you're just, it had something more specific, more static about it. Yeah, I mean, so that's one big thing that I would say is really nice when you're working with data sets on different spreadsheets. Let's see, what else? What else can I show you? I mean, there's cool things you can do. You can do like image. And you can put in a URL. You can actually have the images be populated here. So what's a good image that I can use? And that's like a URL. You can reference the image from your... Oh, and this is also a nice thing. So this will, if you expand this, this tells you like how this function works. And if you just didn't know what functions to use, there should be a function right here, I think. So if you do, it used to work where you could click that and it would give you a list of all the functions that you could use. But for now, I think you just have to, oh yeah, of course it's gonna say it's broken. Yeah. But yeah, you could do image. And you don't have to match the case, you can just say image. And it still keeps the casing, but I always do image just to match the function name. Because there's, in the future, if you want to get like super into it, you can make an app script that you could say, oh, this is my function, and what this does, it just does a turn, let's just say return, and you can say image save. And now if you go here, you can do my function, and it returns that equals my image thing. Like, this isn't the way you would want to do it, but you could write functions that do things, which is really cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, if anybody has any things to ask, that'd be cool. Otherwise, yeah, I don't really have too much. I was really hoping that people would hop on and be like, "Hey, I have this problem. Help me." Because it's easier to work. It's easier to solve a problem when you have a problem to solve. And right now, I don't have a problem to solve. It's just like kind of whatever information I kind of have off the top of my head. But yeah, Google Spreadsheet stuff is really cool. And you can use GPT to help generate a lot of like the spreadsheet code for you. You could do that. I know that there's extensions that you can get that help you do a lot of things. I generally don't really use them that much. Yeah, I mean that's yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I just wanted to do like a real quick stream, kind of gauge. I'll just hang out for a bit because I do want to gauge to see, what the what people would like to see. Oh. Yeah, I just want to gauge interest to be like, do people want to see this sort of content? 'Cause I'm down. I'm super down to if people are like, hey, do a Google Sheets content Wednesday. I'm down to put that in my repertoire of my catalog of stuff. Um, yeah. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and just be here. Just gonna be here right now. Just if anybody has any questions, just hop in and oh, yo, how's it going? I'm not making right now I'm chatting with Party, well, the He Knows Gaming. I'm not making anything right now. So right now what I'm doing is um I was just kind of like explaining a little bit about Google Spreadsheets, some of the caveats in the beginning, um, some small things, really quick, super quick things. Um, yeah, like literally super quick things. Like you can only have 100. Like I said, you can only have like each spreadsheet can only have 100 connections to it, and you can't get rid of those connections. Like you just can't get rid of them. Um, but yeah, if you have any questions, shout it out. Like I said, I don't. I'm fairly confident. A lot of people like I work in the video game industry, and there there's some non-technical people that um I mean they know about sheets, but they don't really know like that much about sheets, like how to use them or like maybe the most optimal way of using them, which is fine. Like you're basically kind of prototyping whenever you're building stuff. Like I said, when I got to this state of like writing out which column data exists in, like this was me being like, oh, I can optimize stuff by doing this. So if someone deletes a column header or changes it, I know, this isn't this. If they move it, it won't break. But if they delete it, I know where to look. Um, just some of that stuff. Um, but like I was also saying, like if people don't want, I mean, if I want to solve problems for people, because like I said, I don't really have that many problems to solve in Google Spreadsheets. Um, and the stuff I do need to solve, I can't show it on stream because it's related to work. Um, would be so dope to be able to do like a yeah. So yeah. I hope you're having a great day. He knows gaming. Like thank you for dropping in. Um, thank you. I hope you're enjoying party. Um, I hope party seems to be flying right now. It's pretty awesome. Um, hey Roxanne, how's it going? uh, Roxanne, how's it going? Um, yeah, if you have any issues with Google Spreadsheets that you need solved or something, let me know. Um, I can invite you guys to. You know what's cool about Google Sheets is there is where is it? There is a chat feature. Where is it? No, not here. There is a Google Chat. I've totally used it. They may have removed it. Where is the chat option? That was a bummer. I was actually gonna say, hey, if anyone wants to hop into this Google spreadsheet, we can have a chat. That'd be sick. That would be super cool. But yeah, I don't think they have the chat anymore. Maybe they took it out. But people do make games with this. You don't? How come, Roxanne? Why don't you work with this program? I'm curious because I know there's a lot of stuff that I have done in the past that doesn't necessarily require me to work with this, but I found that using it helps get data in a particular format, and then I can just copy paste it where I need it. Like, but yeah, that's that. I'm not gonna have like a ton of time to stream. I unfortunately have a dentist appointment at 4. Oof, it's gonna be a fun one. But yeah, but yeah, people have made games with Google Sheets. Like, let me see if I can find one real quick. Um, Pretty sure people have made Battleship. Um, yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, they want you to. Yeah, like people have made battleships. Uh, excuse me. Let's see. It's difficult trying to see all of the chats because well, that didn't help at all. I need to. I really wish my. So I use OBS Social Ninja, which is amazing. It's actually not called the OBS Social Ninja anymore, but um, it's amazing. It helps consolidate all the chats, even if using like custom streaming locations that aren't like places like Stream Elements is like, oh, I have YouTube and Twitch and all these places hooked up into one thing. It's like, but what if I stream to Beam streaming, which I do? What happens if I switch, stream to Kick, which I do? What happens if I stream to, what happens if I stream to like a vertical, a portrait orientation on YouTube, which I do. So it's like, and now Party's here. So I want to like be inclusive, but this needs to be updated to work. There is an update for it. Yeah. Yeah, I hope the stream quality looks good. I'm actually using I'm testing a multi-streaming plugin for Stream Elements, um, which is awesome because now, like, recently they added the ability to use like third-party plugins. Um, because when the way it works is you make a canvas and then that canvas you add things to it. Luckily, the source clone plugin I have actually just makes everything work with filters and all that fun stuff because it still works in OBS. I'm using OBS right now. Um, yeah, I still have OBS. The only thing that I noticed is, nah, I'm not gonna do it. Um, some things aren't working exactly, but I think something changed on my end. Because, it shouldn't have broken something. Let's see. What else is there? Yeah, the stream elements. It's a multi-stream thing. Is in beta. They don't have they have an option to add a bunch of output targets to like specific locations. I don't think it supports SRT, which makes sense, which is why my SRT didn't work. I had to switch my portrait orientation to RMTP. Let's see. They're gonna have SRT support. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just waiting for people to drop. If I think of something that is nice, like I said earlier, importing between different sheets is really important. The nice thing is, see how you do this import range. I don't have a ZZ over here because once you expand, it goes AA all the way to double Z. But when you do ZZ, it'll just say, it just tries to grab all the data for you. And you actually don't want, there is a cap on how many rows you can import. Otherwise, the import range will fail. But the other thing you can do is use a script to just pull all the data from this sheet. And you're just copying it directly into here. Or you can say, you can write scripts that, or write a function that just pulls a section of data. You're like, I only want the information where ID or where strings say a certain thing, or data is a certain thing, or certain specific things. And it'll just hard code this for you, which is nice because then on this sheet it speeds it up because it can just reference. You do another tab and you can say, I want to do these things here. So if I wanted to say like equals, so if I do that same query and I can say select star, which just means all the rows where, wait, actually I need the data first. So yeah, so you can just be like, I want, damn it, this to D. We'll just do that. Or to, I think this actually isn't going to work. You can't do query and then this data and then do ZZ because this actually needs to have a ZZ column. So you have to be specific with that. I'm just going to do this so it works. And I can just say, yes, there's headers. Yeah, because if I do ZZ, it's going to error. Oh, it doesn't error? What? Did they fit? Oh, yeah. Let's delete this. And then these exist here. Oh, it's just gonna try. But that's cool. It actually tries to do the same functionality. That's cool. That's cool. So I guess that does work. Usually, I think it used to not be that nice. I used to just complain. But yeah, so instead of, because I'm working with like actual columns, you could say, oh, I want A, select, oh yeah, no, it doesn't work properly, so it'll fail. So yeah. Or actually, does it fail? Am I just an idiot? Okay, cool. It does work. That's cool. But yeah, let me fix this to say, let's just say I just did this. Remove that, so it just pulls all the data. I can say, oh, I want query this to that, select A, or select all the data, or I can say select A where, what's it? Where D, so you know, like select A where column D is equal to 1. Oh, I gotta make sure I do that properly. Now it works. Or you can say it's greater than 1. Oops, well, I'm an idiot. Okay, so if I do, I forgot. There you go. Now all the places update. But yeah, so then you can do stuff where you can use like the column numbers. The only downside is when you're doing that in this sheet, if that column number changes here. So if someone goes, oh, D's not there anymore, you go here and you go, oh, okay, well now ID is here, okay, and you go here and you go, oh, it broke. So if you have something set up here, what you can do is what you could do is sort of the same way you say, oh, I want ID, right? So you say address. I'm sorry, no. Yeah, you can do address, and then you can say I want, or actually you could do match. So you can still do match, and you can say, oh, I want to find ID, and then in the range you can say, oh, I want this information. And one thing to do here is to do the dollar signs, because that means if you move this thing, I'll show you. So this is 3. But the reason why you do a dollar sign, if you move this down, it does this. But if you didn't have the dollar sign, that basically locks in the data. So if you didn't have the dollar sign, oh, excuse me. Oh, my nose. Excuse me. If you didn't have the dollar sign, but you see how this incremented itself automatically, which you don't want. But it's safer just to do that. But what you can do here is you can do a, oops. You can do address, and you can say, oh, what row? And you can just say row 1. And you see how it has like the C in there? So you can say, oh, well, I want absolute mode, which is going to be, if you put in 4, it kind of removes the like absolute, like the hard locked value. So you can say, oh, I want this. So now you have the C column here, right? That's the letter, but you don't want the number because that doesn't work. So what you can do is you can do a couple of things. You do left, and then you can have the string and say how many of it you want. So if you did 2, but the problem is if things become ZZ or AA or anything like that, it's going to mess up. So the better thing to do is actually, what I do is it's called regex extract. And what that's going to do is you're going to pass in the text value C1, and then you can do like regular expressions. So you could say, oh, I want the word, because if you do little d, it's the number. If you do big D, it's like letters or symbols, that sort of thing. And you could do star, because if this ever became like an AA, this will automatically become this. So then you can hit enter, copy this data, and if you go back here, you can say, oh, I want, oops, kind of back where we did that same thing. So double quote, double ampersand in between, you can add this, because then you can do that, and there you go. So now it still selects column A, where ID, the ID column is greater than 1 or something like that. So that's that. So now this can move over here, and when you go back here, this doesn't break because this, knows to adjust itself to the right column. Should have, yeah, see? Yeah, because it was D before. So now, I actually would want to move this here. So if I was like this one works automatically to do, oh, well, sorry, this still works because now this is, column D. So it's finding everything automatically. So that's one cool thing. So but you can also import the same sheet if you really wanted to. You can say, oh, I like putting column 1 instead of having to figure out all that fun stuff. So you can do import range, paste the sheet, pass in this value. But the problem is this shouldn't work. I guess it shouldn't have worked, but oh, maybe it works because it's in the same sheet. So now it knows what to get. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's cool. But generally you could import the same thing and then say column, I think. So you can say, so I don't think that works. Yeah, because there is no column A because it's turning this all into a data thing. So you can say column 1. And that's all column A. So, or the column that it's trying to get into here. So as you can see, this is broken because you can't do this because this is now column 1, but also, yeah, it's like, it's weird. So you really have to figure it out. My favorite Diablo game. I like Diablo 2. That is the best Diablo. Yeah. My screen's so small. What do you mean? Are you looking at the portrait YouTube video? I think you're watching it on portrait YouTube. It's probably what you're doing. Yeah. Well, I gotta turn the stream off now because I gotta get ready for work. Not work. Gotta get ready for the dentist. Fun stuff. But yeah, thanks for everyone who hung out. Yeah. See ya. Message me on Twitter.